a new pair of glasses today. And also, is it just my imagination, or does this individual seem to be putting on a little bit of weight, if you know what I mean? Come on there, Toledo. Enough is enough already, don't you think? 8 minutes after the hour of 3 o'clock. Welcome in. I do have a topic today. I do have something I wanted to talk to you about. It sounds on the surface like a relatively simple thing, but there is a method to my madness. I swear to you there is. There is definitely a method to my madness. Although I don't see any method to the madness of turning that little card around there that has the phone numbers on it. I don't know who did that. But anyway, let me give you the telephone numbers. 461-9352, 461-WFLA, number in Pinellas. In Hillsborough, 990-9352, 990-WFLA. Why, pray tell, would you need those phone numbers? Very simple. Something is likely to happen before the year is out. Something very, very big. Something that you've been warned about time and time and time again as you all went skipping down the street going, tra-la-la, tra-la-la. I don't care. It doesn't directly affect me. Tra-la-la, tra-la-la. In all probability, boys and girls, barring miracles, good old Wade v. Roe, Wade versus Roe, will be overturned by the United States Supreme Court. In all probability. And what I would ask from you this afternoon, very, very simple, just kind of those, one of those one sentence, one question shows, what happens? What happens if, when, take your choice, Wade versus Roe is overturned? For the benefit of those of you who aren't terribly clear on Wade versus Roe, that's the abortion question. And if Wade versus Roe is indeed overturned in states like Florida, then pass their own abortion laws, on what basis will those laws be passed? Simply because you don't want other people to have abortions, or simply because you think it is somehow sinful? Or because it's murder? Well, that's rather interesting. There would be murder in Florida. What happens to somebody that goes to Georgia and gets one? Is that person committing murder in the state of Florida? I mean, just because Georgia... I mean, if somebody went to the state of Georgia and clubbed somebody over the head and killed them, and the authorities in Georgia said, well, we choose not to prosecute. We don't prosecute murder in Georgia, and came back to Florida, wouldn't you be clamoring to have that person prosecuted here? Just because the state of Georgia said, no, we don't recognize murder as a crime here. Let me give you the telephone numbers again. 990-9352 in Hillsborough, 461-9352 in Pinellas. I say, let me give them to you again because the phone seems to be incredibly quiet. And I'm sorry, boys and girls, you should have been thinking about this for the last 8 years. You should have been thinking about this for the last 8 years. And all I'm doing is just hastening by a couple of months what is bound to be one of the major debates for the 1990s, because not only will the state Supreme Court be ruling on it this year, 1989, but from 1990 onward, various different states will be taking a look at their abortion laws. I mean, this is something that's going to come on and on and on and on. And I'm sorry, I'm not letting you off the hook today. I don't give a damn if I have to sit here from now to 6 o'clock just asking the question over and over again and occasionally introducing Gary McHenry. What happens if Wade versus Roe is outlawed? Did I throw a couple of monkey wrenches in there that you hadn't thought about? Ah, too bad. 990-9352 in Hillsborough, Tampa. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hello, Bob.
Hi.
My daughter had an abortion when we lived in Louisiana and had to go to Texas to get it because it wasn't legal in Louisiana. I think that same thing will probably happen here if Georgia allows it and Florida doesn't. And I know that you're not suggesting that Georgia would.
I beg your pardon, sir. Florida cannot disallow it without a good reason.
Yeah, well, what I'm saying is...
The Supreme Court will not permit Florida to disallow it just because they feel like disallowing it. There has to be some kind of compelling reason, sir.
Yeah, well, I understand. But I really don't see anything happening if wherever they're being allowed to...
It is murder.
Well, no, it's not. There are degrees of it, and depending on the state, it depends on what degree it is, depending on what state you're in. All the state laws on murder are different.
Well, sir, I'm very sorry, but I don't think the good citizens in the state of Florida would put up with someone leaving the state of Florida, going to Texas, for example, murdering someone and coming back here.
Well, they wouldn't have anything to say about it.
Oh, I beg your pardon, sir. They would have a great deal to say about it.
No, they wouldn't.
Oh, sir, I beg your pardon. Yes, they would.
No. They would be within the law in Texas. That's what I was trying to tell you. That's what we did with our daughter.
Uh-huh.
Louisiana didn't do anything because it wasn't legal there.
No, sir, it's because it wasn't murder.
That's right.
That's right, it wasn't murder. So therefore, sir, they couldn't be illegal in the state of Florida.
Well, whatever. I don't know.
Murder,
I don't know what's coming down the road 6 months, and neither one of us have a crystal ball as far as 6 months from now.
Sir, I don't believe I ever said I did.
No, I didn't suggest that you did, but
well,
I don't.
Think you just did.
I didn't suggest you did.
I didn't.
No, I didn't.
No, sir.
I said neither one of us have a crystal ball.
That I didn't, you were suggesting that perhaps someone had said I did.
No, no one said. I just said that I didn't think you did, or that you didn't. I said I don't, and I don't think you do.
Well, sir, since I've never said I did, there was utterly no reason to suggest that I didn't. But that's neither here nor there. 990-9352 in Hillsborough, 461-9352 in Pinellas, Tampa. Hi, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Good afternoon.
Hi, what happens if Wade versus Rose overturned?
Well, I personally don't think it will be overturned. I would say
took an enema. No. Did she?
Alistair, was there something that you wish to contribute to the conversation today?
Yeah, your advertising.
My advertising? Which advertising did you have in mind?
Lady Enema. No, what was her name? Lady Enema?
Alistair, get lost. I mean, sometimes you can be amusing, Alistair, but, give me a break. 990-9352 in Hillsborough, 461-9352 in Pinellas, St. Petersburg. Hi there, Saint. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hello, Bob.
Hi.
First of all, the answer to your question, I think, would be we really don't know.
Sure you do. It's up to you.
What?
It's up to you. What do you mean you don't know?
No, how do we know what's going to happen if it's overthrown?
Well,
we certainly know there's going to be a lot of chaos.
It's very simple. Sir, forget about the chaos. There's not going to be a lot of chaos. There's not going to be blood flowing in the back alleys. What's going to happen, if it is overturned on the federal level, is that there will be a tremendous movement on the state level to have abortion outlawed in the state of Florida. That's what's going to happen. That's not
well, then, but what about the other states?
Mystery, sir. The same thing will happen in many of them.
Mm-hmm. Well, even if it's...
You didn't really ask that last question seriously, did you?
What's that?
Well, what will happen in the other states? Yeah.
Well, I thought you were concerned with the country. I mean, we should be concerned with the whole country more than just our own state, but we have to be concerned with our own state first.
It's too late to be concerned with the whole country.
Beg your pardon? I was talking when you said...
It is too late to be concerned with the whole country. I mean, you have lost on the federal level. That's all there is to it. It's over and done with.
Well, we realize that, but still, all the states still make up our country. If we can...
You don't live in Wyoming. There's not a damn thing you can do about Wyoming. You live in Florida.
We should still be concerned about that. Well, let's just take Florida then. Let's say that they pass a law in Florida then that abortion is illegal. You don't think that's going to cause chaos in the state of Florida?
Sir, what are you going to do? You just going to sit back on your ass and wait for them to pass it?
Well, no, first of all...
No, it's not going to cause chaos in Florida.
Well, first of all, wait a minute, before we get off on the wrong track here, I am complete... some of these people that say they're against abortion, I think you should ask them on what grounds.
Sir, what do you mean before we get off on the wrong track
because
here?
I'm against abortion. First of all, I'm against abortion.
Great, sir, I didn't ask you. I couldn't care less if you are. What are you going to do about it? Besides, take me off onto the wrong track. You going to do anything about it at all?
Well, no, but you mentioned...
No, why not?
What are you going to
do anything about it?
What are you going to do about it?
Well, sir, for openers, I'm sitting here trying to make you aware of the fact that your inactivity for the last 10 years has put us in this incredible mess, and all you want to do is tell me about your position on abortion
wait a minute.
and tell me that you're concerned about what's going on in Wyoming.
Bob, you don't even know me. How do you know about my activity?
Sir, because it's what you've been telling me.
I haven't told you about my activity. First of all, if you ask me who I vote for...
Sir, I said, what are you going to do about it? You said to me, I don't know.
Well,
I do know. You just told me nothing.
I just blurted that out. I don't know. I haven't made up my mind. I haven't made up my mind yet.
Sir,
First of all, there's not
a... for the remainder of this conversation, so I'll have a fighting chance as to when you're telling me what's true and when you're telling me what, just comes off the top of your head. Could you, before every sentence that's true, could you go, bleh,
No, it's not a
make
question.
some kind
It's
of
not a
noise
question
so I'll
of
know?
truth. It's not a question of truth. It must be nice to be absolutely perfect and never make a little mistake in what
Sir,
you say.
I wouldn't have the vaguest idea.
Well, then quit acting like it then, Bob.
Sir, I've never...
First of all, I don't...
You hold
May
on.
I say
sir,
something?
No, not until I'm finished with you, sir.
Okay.
Where in the hell do you get off saying that I imply that I'm perfect? Where in the hell do you get off with that?
I didn't imply that.
You just did, sir. Now you're taking me for a fool. Get off my phone. Who gives a damn about what you think? You don't know what the hell you think. Did I talk you into quitting smoking? I know it's very difficult to quit smoking in times of stress like this. I know you've probably just lit up a cigarette, saying, "Whoa, where did Lassiter get that one from?" But it doesn't have to be that way. It really doesn't help you. I promise you, it really doesn't make any difference. It doesn't make your life better. As a matter of fact, smoking makes your life worse. It doesn't make food taste better. As a matter of fact, it makes it taste worse. You don't even know what food tastes like when you smoke. Doesn't even make that other stuff better either. Believe me. It's a lot more involved. And actually, you'll do better because you'll have more breath. You'll last longer. You'll, oh, mama. All you've got to do is make up your mind. What's the matter with you, Michael? Oh, Stereo, I tell you, he just gets lost in there. I don't know, maybe he's listening to another station or something. All you've got to do is make up your mind that you want to put the damn cigarettes away once and for all. And when you do that, get in touch with Dr. Robert Sobel. His telephone number is 787-5530. Dr. Sobel put together a program called Quit for Real Loser, in which case we will definitely use your name to point it out to other people.
I want to ask a question. When was abortion illegal? Illegal, I'm sorry. And what years in the past weren't they illegal?
Up until about a dozen years ago, Floyd.
Okay, well, if we've already changed that and gone into say, a transition stage where now
it's not a transition stage. It is legal
legal, right? I'm sorry. Anyways, why are we going to go back and present all the problems they had before? Because I'm sure a lot of girls must have gotten sick from these doctors that did them at home or so forth. And now they're having, impregnating the eggs, whatever they call it, test tube babies and so forth. I mean, all these things are being done, and they're going to go. I don't think they're going to go backwards. Personally speaking, it's going to be impossible.
Well, Floyd. Perhaps you haven't been keeping up with the newspaper of late. You see, there's a very significant movement in the country amongst a certain element of people who are politically very active and very vocal. And on top of that, Floyd, back in the early part of this decade, the people have elected a president, a jolly old elf he was, and he packed the federal courts with people who refer to themselves as conservatives. And these conservatives, in many cases, are one-trick ponies who are primarily out to inflict their relatively narrow moralistic views, including abortion, on the rest of the populace. I appreciate, sometimes I get behind in my reading too, but that's in essence what has happened.
Okay, well, like Bush, did you say Bush is not involved? He hasn't given his opinion on it?
No, that's not what I said at all. What I said about Mr. Bush is that he has certainly given an opinion. Unfortunately, it wasn't apparently his opinion.
Okay, so he wants to stay out of the picture altogether.
No, that's not correct. He wants to be perceived as being very active in the picture. Abortion, well, as a matter of fact, he even made up a very cute, clever little slogan, adoption instead of abortion. But unfortunately, during the presidential campaign, somebody asked Mr. Bush a relatively fundamental, basic question about his beliefs in abortion, and he couldn't answer it because he hadn't thought about it. So they had to wait a day or two until somebody thought of the answer for him.
But according to the slogan, he's more or less against abortion.
Well, I would think the slogan, adoption, not abortion, would not really be construed as more or less against abortion. I think that reasonable people might assume that was a relatively definitive stand against abortion, even though Mr. Bush hasn't really thought about the ramifications of his anti-abortion stand.
Yeah, well, in the position he's in my opinion, he really, like you said, there's a lot of people against and a lot of people for it. It's really a delicate situation because you're president of the United States and you want votes. You're not going to go against either crowd. You're going to try to stay like Switzerland.
I beg your pardon. Mr. Bush has definitely said where he stands.
It's
not a. Don't worry. I get behind in my reading too. This is a very definitive. That means definite position. When you say adoption, not abortion.
Oh, okay.
So it's not like Mr. Bush is taking a middle of the road stand.
So what are you trying to do now? Take it up to vote or?
How far behind in your reading are you? When was the last? Do you remember a guy named Eisenhower?
Wasn't he a famous jockey?
How about Truman?
He was a pilot, wasn't he?
No, he wrote a great book, a fantastic book, Holly Golightly, Breakfast at Tiffany's. Fantastic author, one of my favorites and surely one of yours. Only because I desperately need the money. We'll do it again tomorrow at 3. Behave yourself.